Good morning, everyone. It's Monday, and after a tumultuous weekend with conflicts between Israel and Iran, the stock market's up this morning. We're going to see if it holds, but it has been a strong market ever since this dip back in April. It's basically had a V recovery, and it just doesn't seem like anything makes the market sell off. We had this recent little dip here on Friday off this 20-day moving average, and we're back up. So in this video, I'm basically going over some stocks that are on my buy list, and also, what the strategy is for me, how I'm going to attack this market now that it's looks pretty positive. And basically, we can see that the price of the market overall is well above the 200-day moving average. And not too long ago, this 50-day moving average jumped over the 100-day moving average. All bullish. And then, just as another confirmation, this 20-day moving average in the middle of the Keltner channel here is also above this 200-day moving average. So basically, I'm now back in dip buying mode. The long-term momentum's there. The confirmation momentum is there, and even another confirmation with the 20-day over the 200-day. So really, this is where I'm at a strategy of where I was before this sell-off started back in late February, March, and the market lost everything. Now I have a lot more confidence in the market. So with that said, it's time to find bargains and dip buys and find areas of, where I can add to positions. And so I had a nice list of stocks that looked like they were, good bargains, and I had them on my list. The first one I'm going to go to is Duolingo. And basically, if you go to my video and take a look at finding the bottom, this is a nice kind of example of a bottom. Now, I was a little, and I'm still a little worried of this gap. There's this gap right here between, this 435 price down to this 400. Often gaps fill, but it's over a month ago. I don't know. That's my only concern, so I'm definitely going to have a stop loss on Duolingo. Probably going to put it at this 50-day moving average at about 455. So really, Duolingo is on my target list at 455, and the reason is basically it's starting to round out, show a bottom. It had a couple of green days. Today's a red day, but it had a couple of strong green days, so it's a buy for me with a stop pretty tight. And so that's on my list. It's a hot stock that has all the momentum. It's got the price over the 200-day moving average. The 50's well over the 100-day moving average. And then if you look at the Keltner channels, it's really at the bottom of the Keltner channel. So it's a true dip buy. It's one that might have to have some patience with for a month or two, but it's on my list, and I'll be probably picking some of that up today. Another one on the list is Allstate, ALL. And if you see, this is another example. It was up in the top of the Keltner channel. It shot all the way down. It bounced off the 200-day moving average. A good sign. It had a really strong green day, and now it's kind of bouncing around. It might go back down. It might go back up, but this is a nice spot for this stock. That's kind of showed a bottom with my power momentum strategy on a real deep kind of value dip buy. I'm going to look at another one, Arthur J. Gallagher, doing the same thing. Bounced off this 200-day moving average. Had a nice strong green day. Now it's kind of consolidating, and it's got this. It's getting smaller and smaller, these bars, these candles, and so that's could be a volatility contraction as well. So it's showing a lot of things that are positive for kind of showing a bottom it's on my list. Another stock that was on the list is SEC Limited. Definitely didn't want to grab it at the top of the Keltner channel, but it's dipped. It's down here. It's been green. Volatility contraction. The volume was kind of down and then increased here. So it's just kind of showing that bottom. Again, tight stops probably off this 50-day moving average. And man, there's a ton of these that look good right now, which is a little surprising with all the conflict and the news that we're having. But here's another one, Chef Warehouse. Nice cup and handle. If it could get back above this, all-time high, it could just keep taking off. It's a distributor of food and a stock that's been really strong for a while. And again, it's kind of down at that bottom of the Keltner channel, but regaining its strength. Green, looks really good. It's possible you buy it after a few green days and it dips again. That's something that kind of happens, I've noticed, but then it rebounds. So I'm never too worried about it as long as my stops are in a decent area. $59 is an okay spot for a stop. It's tight, and it's possible you get stopped out if an event happens or the market sells off. So, but at least the risk is not too bad. It's a $63 stock, and you're risking $3 a share. So, whereas if it was at the top of the Keltner at like 67, and you're putting a stop down there, you're risking almost like $8 a share. So that's why I like these dip buys on these strong stocks down towards the bottom of the Keltner channels. They take a little longer to recover. You don't get the instant hit of, a stock that breaks out, but they sometimes have more room to run. They can pound through the resistance, and also there's less risk when you've got tighter stops. So this is why I found this system to work for me. Another one that's on the list is Uber. And again, this one's kind of doing a double bottom. It kind of recovered right here. So again, using the system, could have bought it, bounced off, and it's shot back down. But now it's got a higher low, which is a nice pattern. So you had this low here at about 81, and now it's got a higher low at about 83, and then now even the stock's up right here. So again, a stop in this area, or 81.45 or 82, tight stops, that's fine. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But man, it could take off, and it's a good stock and a good buy according to the power momentum strategy. Another one on the list, there was a lot of them, is Interactive Brokers, IBKR. A-rated stock by Schwab, 4 stars by CFRA. Market Edge has it as a long, outperformed by LSEG. I will say Morningstar only gave it 2 stars, but other than that, a lot of good ratings. Its all-time highs around that 240 area. It's kind of got this long cup, and now it's got this handle, and it's down towards that middle to bottom of the Keltner channel. It seems to have recovered. You could put a stop around like 194 around this 50-day moving average. Again, nice and tight, not a lot of risk, and it could take off if it gets over this area, and it could build all the way up to this all-time high. So these are nice. These are nice for even not just position trading, but for a swing trade. You could maybe put your target at 238 or something like that, or maybe a little below that when you could start hitting the resistance here. Or you can take a little bit of your profit up in this area. There's some risk that it comes back down, but hey, the stock looks good against the power momentum strategy. Another one that I really like, there was a ton of them. Mercado Libre at Melli, neat stock. I guess it's like the Amazon of South America. But we had this gap right here that gapped up. It hasn't filled that gap. That's a little bit of a concern, but overall, the stock looks like it's forming a bottom off of this kind of area. And, 2,300, that could be a decent, area for a stop. Or if you wanted to be really loose, you could put it down at this gap or around this gap or this 100-day moving average, 22, 28, something like that. That's those are, if you want to be really loose on your stops, but I'd probably be fairly tight. It's either going to go or not. And it could head back all the way up to, 2650, something like that. It's recovering right here. It looks like it hit its bottom. It's recovering, and it's got some momentum. Sometimes when you're buying these stocks that have been green for a couple of days, they're going to take a breather day or two. So just know that, hey, you might be buying in, and it might take a day or two for it to recover. It might even go down for a day or two. Hopefully it doesn't stop you out. But if it stays up there and keeps that level, it's going to be most likely going back up. And so this is another way to kind of look at these bottoms. Here's an interesting ETF, Joe ET. Just recently recovered the 50-day over the 100. And so, it's kind of in that middle of the Keltner channel, a decent buy area. So there's all these stocks that are buys. I'm going to go over a few that have not quite been so good for me. But hopefully they recover. I'm not certain. T-Mobile, I think it's a decent stock. It's A-rated by Schwab. It's got 5 stars, but it's almost right here going to lose this 50-day moving average is creeping right below the 100-day moving average. It needs to literally take off right away. And my stops aren't too far away. It does not look so great. At least, and the stock price is below the 200-day moving average. It's just one I'm just hanging on to. I expect to lose this stock. Most of them are winners, but they're not all winners. So I expect this stock to maybe stop me out. I'm trying to be loose with my stops because I kind of like it longer term, but it might not do so well. Another one to look at is McDonald's. McDonald's is bouncing off this 200-day moving average. It still has all the momentum, so it could recover right here and be a decent buy if you got a longer term picture. Berkshire Hathaway is another one. It looks like it did bounce off that 200-day moving average. It still has the momentum. It really has not been a good stock in the last month or two, but in the long run, it's a heck of a good stock. So it's one I'm trying to hang on to. I got a lot of these. Progressive looks like it's bottomed. Nice bottom off the 200-day moving average. The 50 is still above the 100. So the price is over the 200. So hopefully Progressive kind of gets going and shoots back up. TJ Maxx is another one. Hasn't quite hit its 200-day moving average, but it has not looked great since it had this huge pullback from 135. But hopefully it's starting to regain its mojo. There's some stocks in there that are doing that. Walmart, here's an interesting one at the bottom of that Keltner channel towards that 100-day moving average. Showed a bottom, starting to kind of look like it's greening up. We'll see. If you want a more growthy stock, here's one, ADMA. Kind of towards the middle of the Keltner channel. This thing can go high really fast. I've got some other stocks that are interesting, but I'm going to go off of a list that I shared recently as well on my channel, which is my super list, my most researched list. Of course, what's hot? Oracle's super hot. It's the 50-day crossed over the 100-day moving average. The price is over the 200, but I wouldn't buy it right here. It's way too high. Waiting for it to pull back towards the middle or even the bottom of the Keltner channel. Of course, it's a strong stock. It could keep going, but I just don't want to take the risk. And there's some stocks that I'm staying away from. Here's an example. Salesforce. Great company. It's on my super list, but if you look, the stock price is below the 200-day moving average, and it's confirmed because the 50-day moving average in blue is below the 100-day moving average in red. So it's just overall weak. We have another confirmation. This green dotted 20-day moving average is also below the 200. So nothing is lined up. It's not had it's had lower lows and lower highs. Did recently recover, but it's again kind of looks like it could be making a bottom, but it needs to show a lot more strength. But there is some ones that I really like that are, Visa on my super list. I mean, this thing tanked. Now, I will throw out something. When a stock has a huge gap down tank type of a day, I do take my time in buying that to see if it doesn't want to keep selling off. And a lot of times I've found with really good stocks, companies like Netflix and Meta and Google and Amazon and Microsoft and Visa and, even cybersecurity stuff, stocks like that, they seem to recover and keep going up and bounce up. But you do have to be a little bit careful here. For about a month, you have to maybe look at the stock. You might have a tight stop. They're a little riskier. But basically, both Visa and MasterCard sold off and in the same fashion. But they look like they've recovered. I don't really know why they sold off, but they did. PayPal's a no-go. The price is below the 200, and the 50-day is also below the 100, so the confirmation is there. But I'm going to go back to Visa. Visa is probably one of the more solid stocks that is on my super list. It's A-rated by Schwab. So this is one I'm going to look at, maybe put this stop down here at 342. It's a steady climber. So those are the stocks that are basically on the list that I'm looking at. I've got a bunch of other growthy stocks, but I mean, this is more than enough as far as stocks to buy from. So again, we've got, Duolingo, Allstate, Arthur J. Gallagher, SE, which is C Limited, Chef Warehouse, Uber, Interactive Brokers, Mercado Libre, plus Visa. So these are all stocks looking really pretty good. And again, the stock market overall looks decent. I'm going to look at the Qs, and you're going to see the 50-day passed over the 100-day moving average about, 3 weeks ago. And the price is well above the 200. So everything's a go. We are kind of approaching this 1, 2, 3, possible 3 triple top around, this 540 area on the Qs. I would not be surprised to see that hit some resistance, or even some sort of a short little pop over the 540 area. People start getting bullish and then it sells off, and that would be a good opportunity to maybe buy after it breaks the all-time highs and then has a sell-off from that. Then it kind of will build its base back up and then hopefully get its momentum back. So, that's kind of the idea right now, because to be honest, we've had such a strong V-shaped recovery that I expect, and it would be normal for us to run into some liquidities, some selling right at around all-time highs, or right as we break the all-time highs, get right above it, everybody gets bullish, and then it's time for whoever, the institutions and everyone else, to drop the hammer and sell off the market. And I could see that happening. I don't think it would be very long. I think it would go, come back down to that bottom of the Keltner channel and be a buying opportunity. It's how I'm looking at it. So everything looks good. There's some real nice buys if you want to dip buy strong stocks as opposed to chase hot stocks. Then right now is a great opportunity according to this system that I've been using for a long time. So if you found this useful, helpful, insightful, leave a comment. Tell me what stocks you're looking at. I'd love to hear about that. But this is, my real world system. I'm not necessarily making any recommendations. I'm just kind of showing, for learning purposes, how I evaluate the market, how I evaluate certain stocks, and what I'm looking to buy. So that's what I'm doing here. And if you found this helpful, leave a comment, please. And hit the like button. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. Good luck in the stock market. Good luck in the markets.